Hey guys, welcome to the first of my scripting videos. This is number one of a complete series on how you do Roblox scripting. So, we're gonna get this started because a lot of you, I'm sure, are new to scripting and you want to try it out and make your own games. And that's sort of the same thing I'm going through right now. So, I made this video to teach you just like part of the basics. If this gets traction, I'll probably do a series as I go further on with my learning career, but I just want to teach you guys some of the things I know and teach you the basics of scripting. So the first things first that we're going to do is we're going to go right here and we're going to go into server script service and make our own script. Now you see this right here, the print statement is a very important thing. I'll go over this in a moment, but first things first, what we have to do is delete this. Always delete this. And now what you have to do? We're going to go over the basics of variables and Lua. Now, variables are they're the carbon cut of Lua. You're going to be using these no matter what. All throughout your projects, variables are a constant thing. So, we're going to go over what a variable is, how you define one, the different types of ways that a variable can be defined, and yeah, a variable is just your own way to say something. So you'll often see in most scripts seeing local. Local defines the variable, but this is also something cool. You can define the variable without it. I wouldn't use it. But you can define a variable without it if this is not in a function. But don't do it this way. This is pointless. It really doesn't save you any time. It honestly just makes it more confusing for your code. So we're going to do local, and then we're going to do player, and we're going to make player, or no, we're going to do local number, because that makes more sense. We're going to make number 3. So whenever this is cited, number is equal to 3. So we're going to use this print, which was from before. Now print, all this is for is this will never show up in your actual game. Players will never be able to see whatever you print. Printing is just straight for debugging your code. So let's say we wanted to check if number, we just want to see if there's a value associated with number, then we're going to print number. So if I run it, as you can see, since there's a value associated with number, it's going to show what number is equal to. Number is equal to 3. Now that we have that down, you can define variables in so many different ways. It's very interesting how you can. So we're going to start off with the first one, local string. All the string is just words. That's it. So we're going to say, hey, this is a string. So this is the value of this variable. It's going to be a string. There's also another value, local true. This is also another form of a value, local true. So what this is a Boolean value. A Boolean value is either going to be a true or false value, and that's all it can be. It only has 2 routes. And then the last value is it is a very basic value, which is just a number value. So local number value, as you can see, like we did before. We'll make it to 40 this time. Why not? Boom. Now there is also something kind of cool you can do. You can do math, or you can do 3 divided by 4. And if we print number here, it'll give us 3 divided by 4. So you can use it in a way of also using math. It doesn't just have to be a number itself. If you want to, you can use an equation. You can do it like that. But we're not going to get into that right now, because that's very pointless right now. You're not going to use that. So now that we have all of these, we can print them. And as you can see, Roblox assisted with that a little bit. So if we print them all, hey, this is a string, true, and 3. Now this, when it prints, is actually something kind of cool you can do. let's say we want to print all three of these together. We're going to put string first, and then we're going to put this comma. We're then going to do true, comma, and do this number. Is then going to print all three of these together practically. So now all three of these are printed together, and it's going to make it a lot easier. Like if you want to put multiple values of variables in, or how technically print in itself can just be used to print like not only variables, it can be used to print. If you want to just print 3, it'll print 3. If you wanted to print true, it'll print true. If you wanted to just print its own string, we could do number value is equal to, we're gonna do number. As you can see, it puts number value, it puts our string first, and then we put this comma, and it gives us our number value. And that's just kind of cool. You can use it later on in your script if you want to just make things a little bit more with the code. And there's also another cool thing that you can do with variables, which is this. Let's say we want to make a reference to a part, right? So here, I want to make a reference to, I'm just going to make a part in Roblox. I'm going to make a part, and I'm going to call it, I'm going to just call it test part, because that's cool. So this is also a very another cool thing that you can do. You can make a reference to different parts in Roblox. You'll often see like local character or local humanoid, and those are actually references to parts in Studio. There are ways to get your character model and your humanoid model, your humanoid part, so you can actually make changes to the actual player's health. But here, we're not going to go into that yet. That's a little bit advanced. It's not really advanced. You'll learn it later, but probably not in this video. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a reference to that part. Workspace.part. Workspace.test part. So, you're probably wondering, what is this? You're probably seeing it as like, oh, what is this? So, to understand this, you have to understand this. You have to understand how this works. Now, Roblox sets this up in a way because this is what we call a parent. A parent bodies all of these. So, practically, what will happen is this parent has all of these children underneath it. So when we want to reference a part, we put the parent first, then the child that we're looking for of that parent. So as you can see, workspace, and then since test part is a parent of that, a child of that, it's there. Now let's say you put child, you put another thing in there. You want to put a folder in, and you want this only to be in test part. Well, then that's still possible because this folder is now a child of workspace. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do folder dot test part, and as you can see, boom, we make a reference to that. Now we're gonna just check if part, then this is just gonna be then part dot name equals it worked, and then print part dot name. I'm just doing this because I think that this is kind of a cool way to do it. And boom, it worked. Look at that. So, there's also another way to do this, which I'll go through right now. I'm sure this will look pretty confusing. So I'm gonna try and do this and explain it in a simple way. There is actually another way to do this, which you're gonna want to do. So, yeah. We made reference to this, and it worked here. But it won't always work in your code if your code is, if you have a lot of things in your project. Because your game is going to load things in one at a time. So that could fuck up your code. That could mess it up. And that could make it very hard to get it. So here's what we're going to actually do. Local folder. We're going to do local folder is workspace.folder. we're going to define the folder. Then what we want to do is define the part, and we're going to define the part in a different way. There's actually two ways to do this. Folder, wait for child. We're going to put in test part 10. So what this is, and the reason I did this above here and this below here, is this. You actually don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can put these in, just workplace test folder, find wait for child, put in test part, and boom, it'll still find it. But the reason I did this is just to make it a little bit easier for you to understand the code and get it practically. That's it. So this local part, what this is it's going to find that same local part that was mentioned before. But we did it a little bit differently this time, because what I want is where I want to go first through the folder. Now this wait for child, this is honestly going to be very confusing, and you're going to be like, oh, what is this? What is wait for child? Wait for child is the same thing as defining this. It's the same thing as defining this, but the only difference is that this right here waits for it to exist. So let's say your game loads in and this part is in here, right? This part, the game can't find it. It may not be an issue of that part being defined like wrong. It may not be that issue. It may be an issue of the game has loaded in and that part hasn't loaded yet. So that's why we use wait for child. Wait for child will do this. It will search for that child, and if that child isn't found, then it just stops the script here. It doesn't go anywhere past it, unless you use this. This is a timeout, and what a timeout is you put in a certain amount of time. Let's say you want to look forward for 2 seconds. It'd probably be a little bit longer, but 2 seconds, right? What will happen is this part, it'll look for this part for that amount of time. Then, if it doesn't find it, it'll just say screw it and go past it and continue down your lines of code. Now, this is still an issue if it doesn't find it, because if that variable is referenced later on, then that variable will be nil. And if you want to know what nil is, local nil is nil. Nil is just nothing. It will not have a value because it has not been defined. It couldn't find what it was supposed to be defined as. So it'll be nil, and that part or any reference to that variable will just be nil. That code that references it won't work. So, to say the least, you're gonna want to use this a lot. You can either define a variable before, which puts all this does is just puts it defines the parent of the part we're looking for. So workplace.folder, folder is the parent of test part. We define that, and then we just do our variable, which is the parent, and we do wait for child, and we look for test part, and yeah. Now, also, another thing, this does have to be a string, so if you put it in, you can't just put it in like, I don't know, test part like that. You can't do that. And since, I don't know, what's it called? I want to do this. I'm just going to get rid of the string and show you what happens if you try to look for a variable that doesn't exist. Part, not real. This is not in our folder, so if it's referenced here, it's looking for nothing, essentially. This will not be found. As you can see, when it isn't found, it gives you an infinite yield possible in workspace.folder. So what this is practically saying is, hey, this part doesn't exist. I'll keep looking for this forever, so nothing in the script will go on past this point. Now, if you do it this way, it will never time out. So this is just a really efficient way of knowing, hey, this part is definitely not here. It's definitely not in the specified location. Because I'm searching for it forever, have not found it. Right? So it won't run any of the code down here with if part or print number. As you can see, the stack ended and it ended right there. No part, the print never happened. So it'll just stop right there. That's a really important thing to know. There's another one, which is just find first child. It's quite literally just the same thing, test part. The only difference is if you use this, it won't do the wait. It won't. So if I do this, test part, and you can see part is defined, it works. But if I do, yet again, not real part. If I do that, it doesn't work. It doesn't exist. And here, this is what I'll do to prove that, because this code is very simple on how it works. I can explain this, and this is really what you're going to be using print for most of the time. I'd say print is very valuable. It's something that you're going to want to learn, but it's a very basic tool, and it's one of the tools you'll keep with you all the way through your development of your game. So the reason we use print is this. Let's say I want to check if part is here. I can't just print. I could just do, is part here? I can't just do that. No, this is a coding language. So what we're going to do is we're going to put if part. All that this if part is asking is, hey, does the part exist? Is there a value assigned to this part? If there is, then you're going to do this line of code. Now, I'm going to get rid of this because this is really redundant. It doesn't matter. Like, this is a really redundant and semi-stupid way of using print, in my opinion. Because print, you could just do this. If part, we're just going to say if part, then we're going to want to write something in the console. Now, the part will come up here in the output. If you don't see it, then here's what I recommend you do. You go right here, add tools, look for output, and you're going to want to bring this. Output is one of your greatest tools on Roblox Studio. It's one of the only ways you'll be able to see the print. Print is always going to be vital, no matter what. Print is going to be a lot of the testing parts for your game and understanding how it really works. And if aspects work, so yeah. So we're going to say if part is defined, then part is defined. But let's say I want to check if there isn't a part. I mean, obviously, if this code doesn't run, we know there isn't a part. But let's say I want to make sure of it. I want to say, hey, maybe I'm really deep in my project and I can't remember this line of code. And when it doesn't run, I'll be like, okay, it's probably nothing. Well, then we can do this. If not part, then print part is not defined. So what this is actually going to do is, this is the opposite of if part. It is going to check if the part is not here. So if the part is not here, if it does not have a variable, like a actual value assigned to it, if it doesn't exist, essentially, then it will print this. So let's see. I have it defined. I have folder, find first child, not real part. This isn't a part that I have in folder, so part isn't going to be defined here. Let's see. And look what we get. Part is not defined. So this is very basic. It's going to be really useful to you. You can use this for a lot more, obviously. Printing can be used for a lot of different things. It's a very useful tool. I'd probably say this is what you're going to use it for most of the time. Checking to see, you're going to check to see if a lot of your variables exist, or just check to see that any changes in your number value. Print will have uses later on, but this is kind of the first video. If you do have anything you want to say, like, hey, give me some, updates, give me some advice on, whether or not you like the video. If I went too fast paced, I'll also write some comments down for here. So if you want to go through the video and be like, hey, this didn't make that much sense, I'll write down these comments real quick in about the next few seconds, about next like 50, like about the next minute or two, just explaining what each of this is and how it works. So we're just gonna go over strings again. Strings are just words. That's about it. They're just words or a sentence that you want to put. Yeah, if you want to, you could just get rid of this. Literally just put hey. But, you know, yeah. Uh, Booleans are a true or false value. So this is what booleans are. Booleans are just a true or false value. Very, very basic. And numbers are just numbers. But can also be used like math equations. So, if you didn't clock what we did earlier in the video, there's actually a math library here, so math dot, and if you wanted to, anything that results in a number can be quoted as a number. So, let's say you do this math dot random, right? Math dot random 1 through 10. This right here, even though it's a math dot random, it's not a number in itself. It's more of a mini script, a mini thing you can do. This is just gonna pick a random number from 1 to like 1 through 10, and yeah, that's practically it, right? It's just gonna pick a random number through 1 to 10. And if I go ahead and do this, as you can see, it's a number. It goes through and it works like that. So it'll still be a number even if you do that. Only time it would change is if, like, for example, you you fuck it, I don't know, if you made it into one of these. So if you wanted to change it, if you changed it to true, then hey, now number is a boolean. But and if you change it to 5 like that, this is not a number. Don't get this wrong. If you put this like this, if you put these quotation marks around here and it turns green, this is no longer a number. This is a string. A number is plainly defined like this, or can be used in an equation like this, or math.pi. I don't know. Yeah, you'll just do math.pi. It could be used like that. Okay, that's pi. Or it could be used another way, like if you want to do a smaller equation that's more simpler, 3 minus 2. Boom. So that's kind of how numbers work. This, just to go over it again, whatever overlaps this has children. So this overlaps all of these. So this is the children. These are the children of workspace. And this right here, we have a folder. This is even better explaining this. Folder is the parent to test part. So this is the parent right here. If we actually go through and look at the properties of it, you can actually see the parent right here, and boom, boom, bada bam, it's folder. This overlaps test part, so it's going to be the parent. And workspace is the parent of folder. I mean, no, workspace is the child of, workspace is the child of, no. Folder is the child of workspace. Holy shit, I keep fucking that up. So that's just a very basic understanding of how the child system works, sorta. And this right here, wait for part. Find first child. This is gonna find the child that you're looking for. So, it's just gonna look through where we defined folder, and it's gonna find that first child, which is the part we're looking for, which is not real part. So this doesn't exist. So yeah, it won't. This is. I'm just gonna say this is nil, since this this part is not in the folder. Oh, that's gonna be nil. Okay, this is practically gonna look for whether, if not part, remember this always, if not part, it's going to look for if the part doesn't exist. So when this says if not, it's looking for whether that condition that you're looking for is false. So if not, let's say if not part equals true, even though, so gonna give me a thing. Yeah, okay. Sometimes it'll ask you to do this. Just put a parentheses around it. It's not a big deal. So if not part equals true. So if the part does not equal true, then it'll just print part is not defined. As you can see, this part doesn't equal true. It doesn't. So it doesn't matter. This I'm just gonna get rid of this to what's it called? So here all it's gonna check is if the part doesn't have anything defined. If it doesn't have anything defined, then it'll run this code. And here, when it says if part, it's looking for if this condition is true. So if the part is true, like if the part does exist, then it'll print this defined, then it'll print this line of code. And lastly, the last little print thing is you can mix together strings and all your variables together just using this basic number. Just using this basic comma. So just remember that. I'm pretty sure you can do number. You can also kind of do it like that. And yeah, I think that's actually more than good enough. We can see. Or it might not be good enough. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. I'll just... Oh, no, it is. Because it's 3 minus 2. Yeah, it is. So you can do it like that if you want to. I don't know why you want to do it like that. But hey, if you want to, you can. That kind of makes up for everything I wanted to go over in this video. Depending on like how much traction this gets, I might do a secondary like video that goes over functions and shit like that, and I'll go into pretty good detail. These these beginning parts will be just the basics of Lua and understanding them, and once you learn Lua, we'll get right off to the kickstart. Once you learn the basic functions and basic ideas of the actual language. After that, I'll go over to Roblox documentation, and yeah. These videos will eventually get remade later down in the future because I feel as though um, I'm also learning Lua at the time, so say the least. I'm sorry for dragging this. We're in and out. I hope to see you in the next video if anybody's watching this, and have a good one.